All right, beautiful people. What is going on? We are back with the Best Bets Roundtable. I know you missed me because I was out last week. I had multiple people in my DMs. They were fired up that we couldn't come on last week. So obviously excited to be back with you guys. Doing well. Shout out to Nick in the chat. What's going on, my guy? Did have a few people fall off this week. Hope all is well. My guy Andrew Gomez is under the weather, so shout out to him. But he did want me to plug. He's on Steve Garcia. So I'll just put that out there. He's on Steve Garcia. And then a few other people that might hop on later on. We'll see. But yeah, should be a fun show. Not as many guests, like I said. So we'll see if we can craft up something nice for this week. But I'm going to go ahead and get us started with not our usual leadoff, because like I said, Gomez is out today. But I feel like he can step in the shoes because he's 5-0, one of the only people without a loss on stream. Zaid, what's going on, man?
What's going on, John? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Trying to stay hot. You know, we had a nice little streak there. We hit 2 in a row, and then we had the third Roundtable lose on a Holly Holm. Some people thought it was a robbery. I thought it was fine, but that was the last leg. That would have been 3 weeks in a row before the break. So Roundtable's been hot, trying to keep the streak going. I know you've been hot as well at 5-0. What's your best bet tonight, bro?
So tonight we're looking at the Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Weili Zhang fight. I feel like, when this fight opened, I think it opened around 165. If I'm right, I think it's still there. I bet it at 165 right away. I like Weili Zhang in this fight, honestly. I feel that Joanna's been out for 2 years. She's been inactive. She probably hasn't been in the gym. You look at Weili, she's fought Rose. She's been active. She's been training. She went out, trained with Henry Cejudo and their whole team. And she's been really active, and she's going to be the better fighter, the fresher fighter. And I feel like overall, Joanna's going to come in there kind of cold turkey, and she's going to start off really slow. And I think at minus 165, it's a bargain right now to get. And she could finish this fight. She could take her down to the ground, and she could outstrike her. I mean, we've seen that was obviously a war last time, but Joanna's getting older, and with inactivity, I do not like her in the spot at all. I'll take Weili. I feel like she should be around minus 200 to minus 220. And I like Weili Zhang tonight as my best bet.
You're making me a little bit uneasy as somebody that backed Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And I know you haven't lost yet on stream, so something's got to give here. I do have a 1-unit play on Joanna, so I'm on the other side there. I don't hate the play. I just feel like, outside of like a pretty drastic or at least a significant drop off in terms of her talent wise because of the layoff, like you mentioned, outside of that, like I think we all agree this fight plays out really close. Like the first fight, super, super close. Obviously it was Joanna landing a little bit more volume, but to your point, Weili Zhang, she landed the more powerful strikes. And I think that was kind of what swayed the judges in her favor. And who knows, maybe she'll mix in the takedowns. I'd have to see that to believe it. Joanna historically very good takedown defense. She was able to stuff any of those attempts in the first fight, So I think it's going to be a close fight one way or the other, and that's why I'm not interested in laying chalk on Joanna. Like I was basically like, if I cap it around 50%, or in my case, I give Joanna a very, very slight edge, I'm just going to take the plus money. And on the flip side, if the odds were reversed, I would do the same thing. But like I said, something's got to give because you don't have a loss on stream.
Yeah.
So if you're plugging my girl Weili, now you're making me a little bit uneasy here. But
I get scarred from the layoffs after Conor McGregor's layoff, and we all pounded him, and just it's a long layoff. It's 2 years, and Weili, she's been training hard, she's been training a lot, and I feel like she's prepared and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up some good points, and that was my thing too. Is like the layoff is so hard. It's so hard to cap, right? Because we don't know if it's going to affect her at all, if it's going to affect her a little bit, if it's going to affect her a lot. We really just don't know. So I always sort of lean on, basically handicap it with what I know. And if I don't know if the layoff affected her at all, then I'm just going to treat it like it didn't. And then obviously I could be wrong, and we'll find out tonight. But yeah, so it's going to be a fun fight. I hope it doesn't disappoint. Obviously the last fight in this division was pretty boring with Carla Esparza, Rose Namajunas. So it can't be that bad, right? No matter what. But all right, Zaid, 5-0 on the stream. So hopefully you stay hot, not for my sake, but for your sake, and make it a 6-0 this week. But appreciate you, bro. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks, John.
And keep up those TikToks. Vegas Z is absolutely
Vegas Z,
hilarious.
We're bankrupt right now, so we're trying to get some funds back and get the LLC back going. So
there you go, Vegas Z. I want to see a new whip come Sunday after the big win.
I got
Later,
you.
bro.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, for those who don't know, check out him on Twitter. He's doing a bunch of good TikToks on Twitter. It's pretty funny. Moving right along to our next guest, we got my guy moving up in the batting order. It's my guy, Lou. He's been hot as well. 4 winners in a row on stream. I added up, for those that don't know, I told you guys I was going to add it up. I will eventually make some banners. I was running late this morning because I spent time adding up everybody's picks for every single week, and that's why. But Lou is 4-2-1 on stream, and 4 weeks in a row he's given out a winner. So hoping you stay hot. What do you got for us, Lou?
By the way, Zayd's Twitter his TikToks are amazingly hilarious. So he's getting into Clint territory. All right, let's make it 2 for 2 with the women's MMA fights today. I'm taking the Liang Juarez fight not to start round 3. It's not out in a lot of books. I have it on Betway at -145. DraftKings has it at -150. It has come down a little bit overnight, which is really weird. Liang's seen the 3rd round once in 24 fights. She has, let's say, questionable cardio, if I want to be polite about it. The Carnelossi fight was a pretty good example of her lack of cardio. She's getting carried back to her corner. Juarez not looking good in the UFC. Last 4 fights, either in the 1st or 2nd round, she's been armbarred twice. So I like fighting to start round 3. I know a lot of people are on the Liang sub round 1. I'm on it too. If you want to play Juarez round 2 KO, that's sitting at 7-1 is a nice way to back it up. I think if it does go in the 2nd round, I don't know what Liang is going to have in the tank, but I got to put a time prop here on this fight. I can't trust either one. It's pretty low level, but I think it's kind of a weirdly interesting fight. Looks like MMA Twitter has like a lot of opinions on this fight, and they're all mad the props aren't out. But I do have like a fun prop too. It's not a yam bag play.
Let's hear it.
I know you're on the Maddalena side, I believe, this week, but
I'm not.
Okay, Emeev split decision is 10-1, and look, these last couple of weeks we've seen a lot of these fights like Zalgas and Molina, where you have your wrestler versus a striker, and it comes down to 3.5 minutes of control time, or like just against the cage versus a minute or 2 of effective striking, and then how are the judges seeing this? So you want to get around that whole feeling like you're robbed, just start betting split decisions. I mean, that's the way to go. I know Tim Troiano would be proud of that, but I think Emeev should be the favorite here. I think it's a really bad matchup for Jack Della. And I don't know why the UFC made this matchup, to be honest. I would have liked to have seen him have more exciting fights here, but the split decision at 10-1 is interesting because I think 9 out of 10 times this does go to decision. I think Emeev could have, 10 minutes of control time. We really don't know who you get to take down each round, but it depends on what they're looking at. So 10-1 for me is great equity on that bet. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so I basically see the fight playing out the same way. Like, and to your point, like, I think I even put that in my article. It's like, it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be like Emeev controls him, lands multiple takedowns, maybe doesn't bank. He's actually not a great control grappler, so maybe Della works back to his feet, and then obviously Della has the striking advantage. So it's like, what are the judges going to favor? So to your point, split decision, you said 10-1. That's not a bad look for a long shot prop. And then I really like your best bet, which is fight doesn't start round 3, Na Liang, Silvana Gomez Juarez. I've been pretty harsh on Juarez, but let's be honest. I mean, she's going to have a clear striking advantage, clear cardio advantage. Na Liang had to be carried back to her stool at the end of round 1 by Song Yadong, for those that don't remember that debut against Ariana Carnelossi. So she is like, I always get like, I get offended when people, not offended isn't the right word because it's very hard to actually offend me, but I feel like it's disrespectful when people quote stats with no context. Like everybody will be like with the Ode Osborne, Zaruk Adashev, it's like, oh, well, historically 125 doesn't end inside the distance. Well, that's like, you're not using context of the fighter. Like Ode Osborne is like, previous to that fight, his last 8 fights ended in round 1. Like those type of fighters.
He's a fight doesn't go.
Exactly. And Na Liang is that, I think, to an even greater degree. So it's like she's going to sell out for the armbar in round 1. If she doesn't do it, she pushes a crazy grappling pace that she can't keep up. And yes, she'll have a grappling edge because Juarez gets armbarred by everybody. But on the feet, And if it gets outside of round 1, Juarez probably just knocks her out. So I'm
Liang's
totally
probably going to
with you, man.
shoot. She's probably going to shoot within the first 10 seconds. I mean, that's if you look at her tape, that's what she does. So that striking advantage is negated immediately. It's when she has to like have distance in the second round, and she's like, you know, that's where you're like. So if you want to back it up with that second round knockout at 7-1, I don't think it's a horrible look. It's a live bet spot too. I mean, if it does get out of and if it gets to the third, I deserve to lose every bet I made on this fight anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I would be pretty shocked. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I got you down. Fight doesn't start round 3. Liang, Silvana Gomez Juarez. Hopefully it's your 5th bet in a row, and I believe you have a product launching in a week or so. So tell us about that.
Yeah, Fight Studio from the MMA Engine is I'm just doing final testing right now. We're on the verge of releasing this for next week. Our channel, we're like 30 subscribers away from 1,000, which is like awesome. So if you haven't subscribed to MMA Engine, please do. I work with 3 smart people, and then they let me on the channel as well once in a blue moon. So please check us out. I'll be posting some screenshots later in the week, onboarding some people to use the product. It's totally free if you're a content creator. So we're happy to have you. So contact me if you have any questions. Like, we're doing some cool stuff down. Thanks for having me on as always, John. I'm disappointed you're not drinking a mimosa or a high noon, but it's a late fight start time, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint, brother. But yeah, good stuff you guys got going on over there. Good group of guys. I subscribe to them on YouTube. You guys should as well. Appreciate you, Lou. Hopefully we make it 5 in a row this week. Good luck tonight, bro.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right. And I told my guy, John Stargary, and I'd squeeze him in. So sorry, Jonah. You're going to have to wait a couple minutes. But what's up, John?
What's going on, John? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, sorry for the late notice here, but I'm pumped to get into it.
Yeah. So the last time you were on, you came on in a nice, dressed to the nines in a suit. You sold us that pen like my guy Wolf of Wall Street. Uh-oh, my light went out on my belt. That threw me off. Maybe that's a sign. We're big on the signs here. If the belt falls, something like that.
Was it Carla? But, I think it was Carla, wasn't it?
It was Carla. You came on in the suit. You sold us, and you said, this is my biggest bet ever. And Carla did it. She shipped it for the boys. So hopefully you got something. Hopefully you got something similar cooking up. What you got for us, man?
Well, I don't have a max bet, but I do have my probably most confident bet is 2 units on Ramazan and Emeev here at plus. I believe I got plus 135, but if I'm not mistaken, that line is actually trending up. So I think 137 was available last time I looked. But yeah, so basically, I saw someone on Twitter this week compare it slightly to Jedrzejczyk and Slava Borshev, and I kind of feel like that's a similar comparison. I understand the volume argument for Jack Della Maddalena. Obviously, the volume he's put up both in his debut against Pete Rodriguez and against Angelusa on Contenders was quite impressive. But I do think, volume has to be contextualized a bit. It's much easier to put up volume against like low-level Perth Aussie regional guys and Angelusa than it is against, guys with 7-8 UFC fights who belong in the UFC. On top of which, Emeev, if you want to look at the stats, Emeev is low volume, and I get the argument, but he's actually outlanded his opponents at distance for his career. He does a very, very strong job of minimizing exchanges. You don't really see Emeev exchange in the pocket. One of the reasons he is low volume is he tends to be really far on the outside, pick his shots coming in and then get out. And if you try to extend exchanges, he tends to shoot. And to me, I'm not saying Jack can't get off on volume here, because if they do stand for 15, I obviously would give him a slight edge, and I would expect him to land more strikes. But I think if Jack tries to approach this fight like he has every other, where he's going to come forward and throw volume, I think he's going to get taken down a lot. We saw him get taken down once by Angelusa. He ended up on the mat twice in that fight, and both times just made a couple really bad positional mistakes trying to play jiu-jitsu off his back. One time ended up in a deep arm triangle, and then it almost happened again. And that's kind of a hallmark of his game, if you will watch his regional footage, where his methodology for getting up is generally to try to throw up a submission and use that to sweep or attack a submission. And that's fine, against low-level grapplers. And especially if you're a high-level jiu-jitsu player, but he's only a blue or a purple belt, so I don't think he's that high level. And look, I get it. There's an argument that Emeev doesn't get that much control, but, he averages about a round of control per fight. He's had over 5 minutes of control a number of times. And that's against guys like Roberts and Zawada, who I would both project to be better defensive grapplers than Jack Della Maddalena. And so I think there's a reasonable expectation if he gets top time here that he should outperform his traditional metrics in that regard, and should probably end up with 6 to 7 minutes of control. And maybe if it turns out he can just wipe Jack out there, absolutely dominate him. And then that's the other thing, is just the takedowns. Like, I get it. I think Emeev from, the Russian guys is on the lower end of the spectrum, but he does have good entries. And something you've seen consistently with Jack is he doesn't have great hips. He allows pretty much everybody that shoots on him to take him down. He's been taken down a bunch regionally. We didn't really see many improvements to that against Lusa. I know he stuck 3 takedowns, but if you look, Lusa got real deep on all of his attempts. And so I think Emeev, this is going to play out, I think, one of two ways. Either, he's going to just not engage at all, in which case you're probably looking at a fairly close striking fight, or he's going to do what he normally does, in which case I think Emeev's going to get in on his hips pretty easily here and land a number of takedowns. And if that's the case, maybe we end up with a close fight and Jack outperforms his tape in terms of, his ability to get up. And if that's the case, sure, Emeev gets 3 or 4 takedowns, and it's a question of volume versus, grappling optics. But like I said, there's also an outcome here where, Emeev just gets 10 minutes of control. I think that's not being given enough credence that a real grappler, even though he's not absolutely dominating UFC level guys, might dominate a guy who's been getting taken down by very low level regional guys. So personally, I price Emeev in the 55 to 60% range. I think he's a slight favorite here. I think the number is very good here. He's my best bet on the card.
Yeah, you certainly make a pretty compelling case. Early in the week, coming into the week, really, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be betting Emeev here. And then dove into tape on it, wasn't as confident. Like, I still think he's the betting side for sure, like if I had to place a bet on it. But I'm just like, I guess I'm like burnt from a couple close robberies. Like, I'm always on the wrong side of it. And I feel like this has the makings to be that one, just because it's like, if Emeev banks all this control time, but historically he doesn't really put a stamp on rounds, and if he's not controlling him all 4.5, 5 minutes of it, and Della lands like 1 or 2 good strikes, and everybody's like, oh, you stole the round. And so like I'm like, maybe I should just like it for my mental health, maybe not bet on this fight.
For sure. And there's like, and honestly, Emeev's tape is very, very unspectacular. But in the same vein as that, though, you could almost flip it the other way. It's like if Emeev hits a takedown with 2 minutes left in a round that's been fairly low volume but favoring Della, he's probably going to get it if he controls him, I get it, believe me, and like I can't blame anybody for passing. I just kind of think sometimes you have to look past the ugly. Like that Slava Jacasey fight, where I should have been bigger on Jacasey than I was. It's like, yeah, Mark Jacasey's, not an elite wrestler, but he's a guy who wrestles at a UFC level against the guy who's on test.
For sure.
How often do you have a guy with a grappling advantage who's got 25 fights as 5-1 in the UFC or 5-2 in the UFC against the guy making his second UFC fight who can't defend takedowns, and that grappler's a dog? Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say too is like, Emeev trains at American Top Team. He comes in with a similar game plan every time. And historically that camp, they fight pretty smart. So he's not a guy who we have to worry like, well, hopefully he wrestles. We know he's going to wrestle, right? So that's the upside in betting Emeev. So if I had to choose a side, I'm with you. It's just like I said, I have a bad feeling that it's going to be like Della by split in a fight that like Emeev clearly won. But who knows? I mean, I mean, that's just like from the second I came away from tape, I'm like, yeah, Emeev's going to win this in everybody's eyes and they're going to give it to Della. But maybe that's just me hating on the judges.
I have him and Matthews both for 2 units, and I feel like they're either both going to win easy or I'm going to lose 2 splits and want to rip my hair out.
And basically Matthews is the other thing. I think Matthews has a little bit more upside, but I don't want to get on a tangent here. We made Jonah wait a little bit too long as it is. My guy Oz said in the chat, you're looking skinny. So I don't know if it's the fresh haircut you got or the, changing from the suit to the just the t-shirt, but looking good, my guy.
Yeah.
No hat and a t-shirt. There you go.
About 2 pounds, but I got about 20 more to go. So
there you go. Keep bringing it, and hopefully you stay hot. I did add up everybody's record. So I'm just gonna plug it real quick. Now, for those that don't know, John usually gives big underdogs, so his record may not be. I know I have it somewhere. 2-3 on stream. So hopefully
what's the total there?
Yeah, see, I didn't total them up, but I know Tim Elliott was a big dog. Carlos Parza was a big dog, and those exactly, and those were the 2 winners. So it's like So that's why I'm trying to give a little bit of context. But best of luck tonight, bro. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Later, bro.
Peace, guys. Good luck.
All right, moving right along. Oops, sorry, Josh. What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Sorry to keep you waiting there. John responded late, and I didn't know if he could get on later, so I told him I'd squeeze him in. So I didn't want to make the man who's been winning 100K every other night just wait on me, but you got to do what you got to do.
It's all good. I had just woken up before 10:10 or whatever, 12:10 Eastern, so the 10 minutes were fine by me. No worries.
There you go. See, all it took for this DFS hot streak was for you to stop focusing on doing a weekly show with me, and then you just focus on baseball and you win all the money. Easy game.
I guess so, but I miss talking to you about MMA, so I wake up on Saturday mornings and we do it here, so that works for me.
Absolutely, and I appreciate it, bro. What you got for us tonight?
So I only came on for Lou and John's segment, so I'm not sure if there was somebody on before them that I missed, but I actually have similar plays as both of them. I did play Ramazan Emeev plus 145, small play, and then I played the under in the Liang fight, plus 110 for under 1.5. So I played both of those just to kind of echo what they were saying. I'm on similar sides there. I bet a few things that have moved a lot this week. Jake Matthews and Steve Garcia, one of them. Weili over. I played the under in the main event. Let's talk about the main event. That's something that I actually haven't played yet. But I'm planning on playing today is I like Glover in the main event. I played the under 2.5 at minus 175. I know a lot of people have kind of been betting those alternate underlines for this fight. And I definitely agree with those. Like I said, I played one of them, but I do think there's some value here in the money line with Glover. We're seeing like plus 180 and maybe a plus 182 pop this morning. Kind of just think it's going to be like the way younger fighter in a pay-per-view main event is going to take a decent amount of fight day money pretty much every single time. Like Jury is the new best thing and Glover's 42 or 43 years old, whatever he is. Like I expect more Jury money to come in throughout the day, but I'm going to play Glover at some point today. Depending on what the odds I can get, I'll decide my sizing, but I think it's going to be like a pretty decently big wager. Like I think I'm going to go either 1.5 units or 2 units. I think it's a decent matchup for Glover, and I respect Jury because I think that at 205 pounds, he brings a skill set that not a lot of people have, which is he can just kind of spam volume for as long as humanly possible and has really good cardio, appears to be fairly durable. But I also think he's a guy who's going to have a lot of trouble covering big favorite price tags in the UFC because we've talked about this before, John, when we did our show. He fights in such a volatile style, right? Like he plays almost no defense. He's fully offense moving forward the entire time. He throws a ton of volume. He also gets hit a lot. Like even in the Dom Reyes fight, he ate a lot of shots and he's shown to be pretty durable. But I think, Glover's clearly at a disadvantage on the feet, right? He's been getting pieced up by a lot of people on the streak he's been on. There's been a consistent kind of troubling trend of him getting hurt early and then coming back. And I definitely don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities here. But I also think I give a little more credence to Glover on the feet, kind of having a chance to land one of those hooks because Jury is so hittable that I don't think that Glover's like completely drawing dead on the feet. And then obviously where I think Glover wins the fight, or, I'm not picking him to win, but where I think he has his most success, obviously, is within the grappling. And I feel like a lot of people have kind of come to the conclusion that like Jury's grappling is kind of more of an unknown. It could be really good. It could be really bad. Maybe not. It could be really good. I think we would know if it was good at this point. But I'm like pretty convinced it's bad, and I think we have a decent amount of evidence. Like in his rising days, we've seen him get his back taken. Even the Dom Reyes fight, like the time he shot a takedown in the middle of the cage, it came extremely easy. Jury immediately bridged and gave his back, and I think those are like really troubling trends against a guy like Glover. Like I literally think one takedown here for Glover Teixeira. I was looking at Underdog this week and like his takedown prop, I think he was like -1 takedown or whatever, or 1 takedown. And as much as I want to take the over because I think the takedowns are going to come relatively easy, I literally don't think he's going to need more than one should he get it. Like I think Jury does not have good takedown defense. I think he's going to be able to get by against some guys because he's athletic and really long. And yeah, he might be able to stuff. Glover's not the best wrestler in the world, but man, if Glover gets him down, I just think Jury gives his back almost every time to get up. He did not look great against Dom Reyes on the ground in those sequences. And Dom Reyes, I bet Reyes in that fight, so I'll take the L. But like Dom Reyes is a converted football player who learned how to strike at like 25 years old. Like Glover Teixeira is a lifelong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. And like, if he gets in the positions that I think he's going to be able to against Jury, I don't think the fight is going to last much longer after that. So I like unders in the main event. But I really think the most meat on the bone in terms of the betting odds is Glover at plus 185 is pretty crazy to me. And I know there's a good chance he gets nuked early. That's why I'm kind of hedging with the under 2.5. But yeah, he's a money line bet that is widely available in terms of the current odds. And I think we'll only get better throughout fight day. So I'll move on a play at some point, but I like Glover to share a lot in the main event.
Yeah, so as somebody that bet Yuri by knockout in rounds 1 or 2, I'm hoping that doesn't come through, but I totally get the case. Like, in terms of the money line, it makes a ton of sense. Like, and to his credit, like he's fought through some adversity. He's very just good at getting it to the ground where he needs it to be when he gets hurt. And I could see that happening here. My biggest plays on the fight doesn't start round 3, so I certainly like any unders in the main event. So we're on the same page. So out of those 3, you said that would be your favorite one, or?
Yeah, we could go Glover money line as my favorite play. You know, I played the under 2.5 minus 175 for a unit, but I think I'm going to play Glover for bigger than that, honestly.
Okay.
But yeah,
right,
I haven't played it yet, full transparency, but I definitely will at some point today.
Okay, and I appreciate you hopping on a quiet 4-0 on stream. So another
Really?
undefeated, 4-0 on stream. I told it up this morning.
I did not think I was 4-0 on stream.
I went back and watched them all this morning. I was in the lab for like 2 hours. Totally.
One's a Petrosky win too, so we take.
Yeah, one's a Petrosky. There was another, I think another one that was plus money too. But maybe as always, bro, good chatting with you. Seems like we're on the same page in terms of the main event unders and the Liang unders as well. Best of luck and good luck on the card.
Yes, sir. You as well, John.
Later, bro. All right, moving right along. We got my next guy, Evan, who I told that I was talking with Zaid and Lou before the show. Totaling up, everybody. Not only has Evan not missed a show, so he's been on all 9 shows that we've had, 7, 1, and 1. So the overall best record, Zaid and Lags don't have a loss at 5-0, and Lags has a push, but the best overall record who hasn't missed a show is you, my man. So what's up, bro?
How's it going, man? Good to talk to you again. 7-1-1, looking to add to the good times here, keep them rolling. Excited about this card. I got a lot of units at stake. I think my best bet is going to be in the Josh Culibao Seung-woo Choi fight. I'm going to go with goes the distance in this fight, minus 108 on FanDuel. And I think that holds a lot of value. So I think the money line is kind of wide. I think Culibao is going to be more competitive than people give him credit for. He's kind of meat and potatoes, but he's tough. He's not going to quit on himself. And if I'm taking goes the distance here, I'm basically fading a Choi knockout, in my opinion. I don't think there's going to be a lot of grappling in this fight. I think it's going to play out at range in a large octagon. I expect Choi to kind of be one step ahead over Culibao in the striking. And Choi does have some power, but I'm basically betting on Culibao's durability. Both guys have pretty solid cardio, so I don't expect anyone to like death gas and melt from an accumulation of strikes. So they're featherweights. It's possible a knockout happens, but I'm betting that it doesn't happen. So goes the distance, minus 108 FanDuel. That's what I'm going with. So that's where I'm at. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, so I was actually hoping somebody was gonna mention this play because this was one where I was leaning towards betting it, but a lot of times if I'm gonna play something on Saturday, I wait until I hear kind of everybody's input. And I agree with you. I think Choi wins, but I think it's likely a decision here. I think his KO is being overvalued. Like I saw a plus 160 or something like that. Like I don't think he knocks Culibao out at that type of clip. I could be wrong, but I'm with you. I think it does go 15 minutes. I think both guys are pretty durable. I think Choi clearly wins. I had Choi in a parlay with Manel Kopp, which obviously got canceled, but it looks like they're not voiding it. So it looks like I'm just going to be on Choi solo. But I do think he wins, and I think it goes to decision. So hopefully we see you go 8-1-1 now over the 10 shows. But as always, Evan, appreciate it, bro. Best of luck tonight.
All right, man. Good luck.
Later, man. All right, moving right along. Apologies, we had to bounce around to my guest. So we're going to go to my guy, Chad, because I know he's busy today. But what's up, bro?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Not too bad. Can't complain. You know, you are 1-0 on stream. You gave away Jan DeRoba that week that we were both on her. So hopefully you keep the streak going here. What you got for us tonight?
Yeah, as much as I'd love to give a big plus money play, I'm not really loving any dogs here. So I got in the co-main event, Joanna, Weili, Zhang. I got the fight to minus 200 to go the distance. And I promise next time I'm going to try to find a good plus money play, but got to keep this undefeated record alive. These two are going to go to the decision. Joanna is more likely to circle around this time and play it smart, according to everything she's saying. And yeah, I think it's very. I know it's a little, we're paying a little bit of a price there, but I think pretty much most of the time these guys fight, it's going to go to decision. So that's that. Sorry, I love to chat more, but I got to run today. So thanks for having me.
No worries, man. Best of luck to you tonight. And I agree with you. I think it goes a hard 15 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. And we move that record to 2-0. Best of luck, bro.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for joining.
Cheers, man.
Later,
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right, moving right along. We got my guy Josh. What's up, bro?
What's up, buddy? I'm heading to Vegas right now to actually play some bets. So
love to see it. What's your best bet? Would you say
my
that
best
you'll be
bet
placing?
is my biggest bet's going to be Jake Matthews. Just straight up. I think he's going to control the fight most of the time that he's fighting. I think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground. I think he looked really good at weigh-ins and looked really big at weigh-ins. So I like Jake Matthews, and you can get Jake Matthews by sub for plus 900, which I think is a lot of value in that. So.
And what is the money line, like plus 120 right now?
I don't have it right now. I just got out of my car. Everything's on my laptop. So
I'll look it up later. I think it's about plus 120, similar to the Emeev matchup that I talked about with John. Like, I kind of worry Matthews doesn't put stamps on rounds, but I also don't trust Fiallo, like in terms of his minute winning ability. So if Matthews doesn't get knocked out early here, I think he's clearly the side. So I'm with you. I don't know if I'll bet him, but I definitely like the play. And hopefully we can cash a few of those tickets. You said you're in Vegas, so hopefully that brings good vibes and we can get some winners tonight, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you, John.
Later, bro. All right. Moving right along. Looks like we had somebody fall off. We got my guy Lags, who wasn't sure if he was going to make it tonight, but he does, I believe. Is it a max play this week?
I do. Yep.
He has a max play, so he had to come on and drop the hammer. What's up, man?
What up, man? Thanks for having me, John. Fighting COVID a little bit here, so it's been a little under the weather this past week, so not been ideal. But yeah, I love the under 2.5 rounds in the main event. Got that minus 175. That's my max bet this week, 5 units.
Absolutely love it, man. I talked through that fight with Jonah in depth a little bit, so we don't have to beat a dead horse, but love the unders there. I feel like it's going to be a roundtable parlay piece.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Something to add a little bit interesting. I like to bet like a little bit differently. Like, I know some people are more like money lines. I'm more of a prop guy. Like, for me, I think that fight has a very high chance of ending in the first 3 rounds. So instead of taking Glover money line, I'd rather just opt for Glover inside the distance if you can get a good prop on that. I have Glover in rounds 1 through 3 at plus 300. They have that on FanDuel. And then they also have him to win by sub in round 1 or 2. I got that at plus 700. It's now plus 650.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if Glover wins, he probably either subs him or TKO stoppage on the mat. So I'd prefer the ITD side as well.
Yeah, like I would rather just squeeze a little bit more juice if I can, because I just don't see this fight getting into the 4th round. So might as well take that inside, like that round 1, round 3 at plus 300 over the money line at like plus 170.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page as always. I feel like we're always on the same page, but main event under seems like it's the way to go. Best of luck, bro. I hope you feel better.
You too. Thank you.
All right, later, man. All right, sorry guys, I gotta run. So we're gonna wrap this up really quickly. We got a lot to dissect this week. I'll go ahead and get in the lab, tweet out the graphic, and post it on Twitter. As always, best of luck this week. I'm doing a giveaway for Thrive Fantasy, so check that out. I'm going to pick the winner shortly after the stream. So if you haven't got into that contest yet, enter it now. I'm giving away $100 in cash and a ticket or 2 into the DraftKings main event tournament. All you have to do is sign up for Thrive Fantasy. If you've never signed up before, use promo code John Kelly DFS. The info is on my Twitter. And then I'm going to pick a winner here shortly. Best of luck, and we'll see you next time, guys.